you cannot filter the experience with your own ideology. Yeah? Best example, when the Brexit debate was going, a lot of Brexiteers said that we want to make Britain Singapore on the Thames. Yeah? Do they really know what they were talking about? Because if you want to do that, you have to nationalize 90% of your land, provide 85% of housing through government-owned housing corporation, and more than 20% of your GDP should be produced by state-owned enterprises. Yeah? This is Singapore. Yeah?
We're pretty far from that.
Well, how do they get away with it then? Like making these kind of, well, let's be like that and not grounded in fact at all. Who are the economists that are advising them? And you must sit watching your TV just thinking, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, so, by all means, imitate Singapore, but, you have to really know what you are imitating. Yeah, you can't just say that, they have free trade, they welcome foreign investors, which they do. You know, I'm not saying that all of it is untrue, but they don't realize that in doing that, they have used tools that do not fit with this free market story. Huh? I mean, it's a bit too complicated to explain exactly how it was done, but just to give you one example, because Singapore government owns 90% of the land, when it courts foreign investors, it can offer low rent ground for factories, yeah? Which other governments cannot do. Yeah? Mm-hmm. So they have this high public land ownership for a number of complicated economic and political reasons, but they have used this actually to...
That's not a card we can play here.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't have that ability.
That's right, yeah. So if you don't have that, then how should you become like Singapore if you want to become like Singapore? Yeah? I mean, there are countries like Korea, Taiwan, China, which has been very good at industrial policy, government intervening with the subsidies and regulations and trade protection and many other measures. It's not all about protection and subsidies to create new industries. Yeah? I mean, for example, when Hyundai, the South Korean car company, which is now the third largest car company in the world by the volume, when it first started production of its own design car, this small hatchback called Pony, as you can guess from the name, in 1976, it produced 10,000 cars a year. In the same year, Ford produced 1.9 million cars. General Motors produced 4.8 million cars. So if I took a time machine, went back to 1976 and told people, look, there's this new car company in South Korea which currently produces 0.2% of what Ford General Motors produces, 0.5% of what Ford produces, but give it that just over 30 years, it will become bigger than Ford. In less than 40 years, it will become bigger than General Motors. Would people have accepted my investment proposition? No, they would probably have.
I didn't even know Hyundai was that big now.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. They would have probably put me in a mental institution. Yeah. So but how was that possible? Only because later is a different story. But for the first 12 years, the Korean government banned the import of all cars from abroad. Yeah. For another 10 years, it banned import from the cars from Japan. Yeah, it gave huge loans through state-owned banks highly subsidized. Yeah, of course this company also invested hugely in building R&D capabilities, design capabilities. So I'm not saying that it was just done by the government, but this the cooperation between government and the private sector created these companies. Yeah. So why can't Britain, if it wishes to, promote artificial intelligence industry or the nanomaterial industries, why can't it do something like that. I mean, there are reasons why it may not be able to do it, but that's another story. Yeah? So look at all these other countries and try to learn lessons.
But like, if you said to the UK population, you can't drive a Mercedes anymore because we want to promote Rovers or Aston Martin. I don't know. They're not even produced in the UK anymore, are they? But there's a lack of freedom there that comes from what you've described.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. No. I mean, it's not a very nice thing, but you have to make people realize that. I mean, probably things like cars. I mean,
not today cars, but it could be something.
But it's interesting that you say
exactly.
The success is born out of state intervention, essentially, and quite a big level, land ownership or
exactly. I mean, I've written books like Kicking the Ladder, which is a kind of semi-academic book, and Bad Samaritans, which show that even Britain in the 18th century, US in the 19th century, Germany in the late 19th century, they were all protectionists. They intervened a lot in the economy to develop their economies. Of course, now that they are rich, they don't want other countries to use the same method to follow. So they tell the developing countries do free trade, do not regulate and so on. So, I mean, there's that historical hypocrisy. But, I think I would elevate it to a higher level because, it's not entirely about the state. It's about the society's ability to make an arrangement to sacrifice the present for a better future. Huh?
That was a clip from our full-length conversation with well-renowned economist Ha-Joon Chang. You can watch the full episode right here.